But of course, many things at play here, because you're talking about politics, you're talking about social issues, you're talking about the economic transformation, which largely was being discussed here. And I think they overlap, they relate to each other. How you get one right leads to how you get the other right. And if you get the other one wrong, then it certainly feeds into the other and may create problems for you. So we have had to walk this tightrope where we have to combine, and rightly, the social, the political, the economic aspects of our country and of our population. And this is what led us to approaching some of the things the way we approach them that has been put in broad terms and in a bit of details in the case that was being discussed today. So institutions, people, and then how people use the institutions and how institutions will serve us, and then choosing specific areas as we have seen here for our national economic transformation. Today it's about energy, it's about agriculture, it's about infrastructure, it's about good governance, it's about how all these come together so that Rwanda can be, once again, or even better than in the past, a viable state. Because 16 years ago, we saw that Rwanda was almost disappearing in terms of being a viable state. So we had to create right from scratch something and make it viable and be able to move on. And that's why it's really a work in progress. There is a lot to do. There is still a long way to go. We are very much aware of the challenges. We are very much open to ideas, both from within and even from outside of our country. And that's why I was saying at the beginning, I was interested in how people made the interpretations of different things about our situation as written in the case study. And so we keep, and we are open about views, and we experiment many things. We try things that we never tried before. We may succeed here, but we are ready to even be confronted with the failures and still see how to work our way through and be able to move on. But the most important thing here, I repeat, is how we've made good progress in making sure that all Rwandans have a stake, and they are made to feel that it is our problem, all of us, and that all of us can contribute to a solution. We succeed together or we fail together. But at the same time, we are also aware of the cost of failure. So we don't want to fail. We remain focused on wanting to succeed. And we are not an island. We are aware we live in the region, our own region, but we also live in this global community, and we choose carefully what we do so that we are part of these communities, whether sub-regional or regional, continental, or globally. And much as we build also on some of our values, we are aware there are universal values that we have got to interact with and be part of and be evaluated on, and therefore on that basis the acceptability also is shaped that way. And that's why in the choice of how we drive our economy, we have chosen the path of being more for the open way of dealing with our economy rather than closing it, rather than regulating it to almost the point of stifling the kind of progress that would be made otherwise, which we have seen in some other cases with the related failures. So in short, we remain focused on how do we invest in our people. That's the starting point. And then we go progressively investing in other areas as well. Let me touch quickly the issue of ODA, which I read in the case study and which people were talking about. I have to remind people that while even up to today, the level of ODA is relatively high, it is actually much lower, probably in euro terms, if you look at where we have come from. But when we took office 16 years ago, we were dependent on foreign aid to the tune of 85% or slightly over that. We have brought that down to about 50%. Well, if we could bring it down to 10 or 0, that would be the best thing we would have done. And that's our aim. Ultimately, it's to be less and less, and later on not dependent on development aid. But the beauty of this, again, I should mention, there is the bad and the good side of it. In fact, for clarity, if you, in some cases where ODA has gone down, and where in some cases Rwanda has gone up, there is also a case of appreciation that what is given to Rwanda is actually better utilized than what is put in other places. In Rwanda, there is more value for money achieved by what the country gets than you would find in many other places. And therefore, some people have said, we will put our money in Rwanda because when we put it there, we get the results. That's why in the recent case, we have seen some of it go up. But that's okay because, and at the same time, I'm saying it's okay unless we don't really benefit and for long term from this money that we get. If we get money and build the kinds of capacities required for us in the future, in the time ahead, to be able to stand on our own, I would be worried. But we are using this money to build long-term capacities so that at some point then we have, whether it is in infrastructure, as we said, in energy, now there's money also coming into agriculture. Now we are able to modernize, commercialize our agriculture. In the last 5 years, Rwanda has realized food self-sufficiency for the first time in its history. And in fact, not only do we have that, food is being exported to our neighboring countries and beyond. This is the first time ever. And it's because of the kinds of investments that have been made and through some of the resources that have come like this that we didn't have before, or that will not be to the kind of level we would need for that large-scale investments. In fact, some of the land use and land management issues that were being talked about here, they have also been realized through a process where we've got some of these resources, people coming in and providing resources for us to achieve this kind of thing that in the end starts running by itself and therefore contributing to the productivity and the wider benefits that we expect to get in the medium long term. So the foreign aid issue for us, first of all, we are the ones who are very sensitive, most sensitive about it, that we don't need to be dependent on this for too long. We need, in fact, to use it to win ourselves off the kind of aid that otherwise some people may run the risk of being dependent on, and with the negativity that comes with it. So the issue is how we invest it, which areas, and what time horizon we have in mind to be able to stand on our own, building on this kind of foundation and the capacities that we have built from that. So, but of course, investing in the people, investing in development of the private sector, so that the private sector in the end really runs our economy, investing in competitiveness, investing in our investments in education, I think the highest in our region and beyond.